Clap, clap.
We're back.
Clap, clap. We're back. That was so perfect. Cheers. And he leaves me hanging once again. Welcome back to That's Hot, you guys, or welcome to That's Hot. I'm your host, Sabrina Piper, aka Funny Girl with Tits. And we are back. It has been a couple weeks we have been off. And we're just excited to be here. I'm joined by my producer, Max Marcus, of course. Max Marcus
Yes.
Comedy on everything. Funny Girl with Tits on everything for me. Follow along. Like, subscribe, share this video. Because we think, why the fuck not? We love this podcast, and you will too.
Yeah, it's growing every day.
It's growing every day, unlike Max's penis or his height. But your strength and your courage grows on.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Oh my God. It's like where to start, where to end. Who knows? I mean, we had a big month with October. We got back from Skankfest, and then, you would open for Bobby Kelly again.
Yes.
I fell on the sidewalk, and I fucked up my jaw so badly I couldn't even record for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Which will be a great excuse for plastic surgery.
Yes.
Would have liked a little bit, maybe come back a little bit. You go, oh my God, she did something.
Yeah.
There's something to... No. If anything, maybe it gave me a little cool sculpting when I hit the ground hard.
Yeah.
And it was all black and blue. It did teach me I have to lie better.
Why?
Because I was on my way to record a podcast, and I took a tumble. I took a sober little tumble. I'm maybe not the most graceful person. I'm a little klutzy at times. I took a tumble. And when I did, I was all fucked up with my knees, my chin. And I was like, well, I obviously can't go to the studio.
Yeah.
Probably going to go to urgent care. Going to take a beat.
Yeah.
And I decided, why lie? Why lie? The best thing to do is be truthful. Best thing to do. So I sent a message to the producer of the show explaining that I went down and it was bad. And I couldn't come in. And I could have sat there and I crafted a lie or anything, but I think that I just, respected him too much that I thought the truth will win. The truth will prevail.
Did it?
And guess what? He didn't believe me because I gave too many details. And once you give too many details, nothing sounds real.
Yeah, that's true.
I gave way too many details, all accurate details, because I didn't want him to think, I'm not blowing off this show.
Yeah.
This show is important. I was on my way. Little snafu. I didn't want to say, hey, emergency. Can't make it. I want to say, hey, I'm on the way. I'm a retard. I'm sorry. I look fucking bad. But no. So I learned to not respect him. Or anyone else.
Yeah.
I've learned maybe navigate the lie a little bit. Like maybe I should have come up with something deep.
Yeah, lying is usually the move.
You explained this to me when we were at Skankfest.
Yeah.
I did some mushrooms and maybe got a little emotional. Maybe made some phone calls.
Yeah.
Maybe was honest that I was on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because I don't like lying.
Yeah.
And then I learned I have to love to lie and learn it.
Especially when it's about being on drugs.
I was too honest with everybody.
Yeah.
I thought that that's how you open yourself up. That's how you communicate. But I guess not. But the show's about honesty.
Yes, it is.
And our last episode, I was honest. I was honest about Brittany and Justin. And then, synchronicity, how the world works. Brittany couldn't finish her book. Last time I told you guys I would give you an update. I would hop on Patreon. I would read something to you. I didn't want to hurt your brains. Maybe you're signed on to patreon.com/funnygirlwithtits and you didn't want to lose brain cells that night. And I think that's good. I didn't want to read that to them.
Did you finish it?
Max, I can't get past the repetitive sentences over and over and over again. But it's a great novel.
Yeah.
I'm reading it too quickly. Have you ever read something too quickly and you go, but there's no pictures in this. Why is it going so fast? It's because it's illogical.
It's like a good meal. You want to take your time with it. You don't want to rush it.
Yeah, I'm saving the best for last.
Yeah.
I'm saving the best pieces for last. I definitely don't think, obviously it's going to get way juicier past everything we already knew. What did I say? I said there's not going to be anything in that book that's going to surpass this abortion story. And guess what? The abortion one.
Yeah.
That's the fucking craziest thing about, and the most mind-blowing. Everyone else knew everything.
Yeah.
Everyone knew everything else. We knew Brittany, but we're here for you. But, we spoke about her, and Max and I will say you as well. I'll speak for you.
Okay.
We'll believe that kind of what you put out into the universe comes back.
Yes.
I think that you're on that wavelength now.
I am
Fully.
now. Yeah.
Fully. I feel like when we started this podcast a year ago or so, that was really me.
Yeah.
And you would giggle at me, and I would giggle at you for being an ignorant piece of shit who is judgmental and a fucking loser.
Yeah.
But I would giggle.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my God, we're so on the same wave.
Yeah, I've embraced my inner white girl.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of you because you already love skiing.
Yeah.
So why not go full white?
It's true.
But how the world works in the universe, there was only one celeb to really go hard against Britney. And it was Mr. Justin Timberlake's very good friend from the early 2000s, Mr. Timbaland. Timbaland! Maybe you know him from Promiscuous Girl, Wherever You Are, or because your body's like a carry-out, or It's Too Late to Apologize. Yeah, sorry for my singing. Didn't say I was a world-class singer. I just say I'm a rapper at times when I'm drunk. However, Timbaland, one of the earliest 2000s music producers, rappers, performers. I mean, in general, he used to work with Nelly Furtado, Justin Timberlake. Again, early 2000s. I can't go past those names. One Republic. Why not? Throw it out there. And now people are voicing their opinions about Britney. And he did say somebody should put a muzzle on that bitch.
Yeah, he did.
And he thought Justin should silence her. He said he should have muzzled her before. And I was like, Timba's crazy. That's so crazy. And in the world of 2023, you can tell people when they are being crazy. You could do it. And I was just on TikTok the other day, and I decided, let's go live, because I got that ability. Maybe you guys are watching my TikTok lives now. Like we just did a Get Ready With Me, right, Max?
Yeah, it was good.
Max's face looks beautifully beat
Yeah.
from the makeup. And I'm on, and I see Timbaland's live. And I said, too accessible, and I went live with him. Why? Not sure. That's just the world we live in. And why did I not defend my mom publicly, Britney? Because in the world we live in, I got to ask him, hey, you want to come on my podcast? Because that's normal. Because that's totally... People are too accessible.
Yeah.
They're too accessible. I like it, but I don't. When I think back, I think, whoa, those people were famous. And now, I'm Nelly Furtadoing my way to Timbaland.
And it's working.
I know. So we might have Timbaland as a guest soon, is what I'm getting to, which is a weird sentence. And how weird is this? If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, maybe you know this. That's Hot. Originally was thought of by me in 2020 when I wanted to do a podcast and everything shut down, and I wanted to interview stars from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was all about pop culture in the early 2000s, comparing pop culture then to now. And I reached out to all these celebrities over 2020 during the quarantine in the beginning. And I actually had a lot of naysayers. A lot of comics who were like, what would you know? You were so young. And to them I say, I'm glad you were assaulted, you dumb bitches. I see you now. Lurking in the corners and the shadows, liking my posts when I remember you sending me nasty messages. People were doubtful. But I was resilient, and I said, no, this is going to be a podcast somehow. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. And the first person who answered me and confirmed that she would do it is a housewife named Joe De La Rosa from Real Housewives of Orange County, first season. And one of the other people I had messaged who didn't respond to me then, but was one of the first 5 people I messaged about it, was Mr. Timbaland himself. Couldn't access him now. Now. Hop on live at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. He's free. He's free. And he's coming home with me. It was really funny, kind of like watching like some guy that I actually told him, I was like, I've listened to you since I was little. This is so crazy. Like, I would love for you to come on the podcast. And he goes, I was like, yeah, I was just so young since I've like known you. And he goes, you're still so young.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're going to post it on the Patreon because my friend wound up recording it because I didn't know it was about to happen. It was more just like, oh, this is hilarious. And it gave me an option asking if I wanted to go live with him because I'm now that upgraded on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. So now what I'm saying is basically, again, if you've been following the podcast, manifestation works. And although I didn't get Kanye, I have another music producer / rapper that I have manifested.
Yeah.
So.
Just wait till he says that he likes Hitler before we can get him.
Yeah, or that slavery was a choice or something. Something wacky. I mean, something wackier than the Britney thing.
Yeah, in comparison, that's not that crazy.
There's so many questions, so many cues, so many wondrous things. But it was weird how that happened.
Yeah.
You know? Because he had just released that statement, too, and we were just talking about it.
Someone in his team was probably like, you should get on live, speak to the people, show them. I feel like that might have been like, let's backtrack and...
Actually, no. It's because I think Timbaland is actually fucking broke and he needs the money, just like a lot of these loser celebrities. Not loser celebrities, if they come on. Backtrack.
Yes.
Okay. If you recall, a few months ago, we did an episode and we talked about NPC Pinky Doll.
Yes.
On TikTok. Ice cream so good. Okay. All right. Racist bitch. So, I said Timbaland at the time was one of her biggest supporters. He's given her like 3,000 stars. Remember this? You can go back. I said it. And I was like, this is going to be the next lane.
Yeah.
And now look at this. He said, if this stupid bitch, this Sims ass bitch, is making money off of this, I'm going to make money. What he does is he will have... He's basically American Idoling this. It seems like and he's probably not alone, he will have old fans and people who want to be music producers and rappers and singers send him coins and flowers and diamonds, which in TikTok thing translates to money eventually.
Yes.
Send him that. He will get you on the live and listen to you and give you his opinion. Newsflash, you're all bad. You're all bad. He's never going to work with you. And I can say this because these people were all on the lives for maybe 30 seconds, and him and I went on live for about 5-6 minutes. And it was a little too sexual. It was a little too... You're still so young.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you. Let's put that in a lawsuit. No, just kidding. What I would love is to have him on, and then we could finally get our intro song.
Yeah, he'll make one.
Yeah, for sure. We could definitely have that happen.
Or you can just give us permission to use
I feel like all we need is to just... I feel like it's just accessibility.
Yes.
It's accessibility. Something that I think should be accessible is where Wendy Williams is located right now. Because after we talked about her on the last episode as well, I decided to do a little deep dive while my jaw was out of commission. And it's funny that when I fell, I only fucked up my jaw and my knees. Just realizing that now.
Yeah.
Okay. And with Wendy Williams, we don't know where she is, but I did do a little deep dive. Because I was wondering, when we talked about missing her on the last episode and everything, if you don't know anything about Wendy Williams, she was a shock jock from back in the day, who then went on to television, hosted, I'm going to make us another martini, hosted her own talk show for about 10 years. And there's documentaries and this and that. We all know she struggled with addiction, her own thing. And she loved, like, getting the gossip on anyone. Now, here's something weird. She goes off the air, like, past couple of years. I have all the notes and everything because looking into this got really weird. It went from being something funny where Max and I were like, this can be a topic we discuss. Called Where's Wendy? We do this Where's Wendy? And I think I want to do this. The segment, Where's Wendy?
Where do you think she is?
I think she is closer than any of us realize. I think she is
in this building,
locked up in a facility in Connecticut, probably. I'm going to say she's closer than any of us realize. I think she's probably in a facility in Connecticut. Now, let me give you a little backtrack. Wendy Williams was going through a lot when she was then sent to a facility to get better. The show went off the air. She hasn't had contact with her son, Kevin Jr., in well over a year and a half. He has reached out to media outlets to discuss her new management team and his mother's freedom. And I thought, freedom? This bitch says anything she wants. She has the biggest motherfucking freedom. She opens her mouth and nobody says shit. And maybe that's why nobody says, hey, what happened to her? Or they go, hey, isn't that still on the air? Isn't she rambling on? Except when Britney Spears was in trouble, everyone went, where's Britney? We have to help Britney. I think Britney's locked in something. Well, gays, I love you, and you are my people. But excuse me, gays, I'm speaking to the men. Where's Wendy? And why haven't you figured out that she is also in a conservatorship? Wendy Williams is now locked in 2 conservatorships. One is by Wells Fargo, which was brought upon by her new management. And her new management is her newest boyfriend, who could have possibly married her while she was off. For years, Wendy Williams was managed by Kevin, who was her husband. We all know he had infidelity issues. He sprinkled his dick all over Manhattan and Connecticut with his little broad for 16 years. 16 long-ass years. But he held Wendy and her show down. He was also an EP, executive producer. He handled so much. When Wendy fell that one year when she was in the Statue of Liberty costume, I'm sure you can get a little clip of that, have her falling down. Sorry, Wendy, we gotta do it. He picked her up off of that after, and everyone knew what was going on. He was sprinkling the dick, and she went back out there and she finished the show. She's been doing this longer than I've been alive. I'm 27, okay? She's professional. And something that I think professionals always love too, especially, I would say, celebrities like herself, they love to give the fans that built their platform an answer. At least Ellen said, yeah, some of those interns should have been fucking slapped around, those sissy bitches. I'm paraphrasing, but she said it. Almost. We had to get a reason why Ellen was gone. We don't really know why Wendy's gone other than people say she's crazy. She's on drugs. She's drinking. Is she? She was having a psychotic breakdown. Was she? Because to me, it just looked like a woman who was going through a very painful public divorce. Very painful public separation. And then you get a little glimmer of hope when somebody comes around. And I will say her divorce finalized January 2020. Come around to February 2020. All of a sudden, she now meets some jeweler from Brooklyn. All right, he's a celebrity jeweler, which isn't a job. It's not a job. What a celebrity jeweler is you're just making jewelry and you send to celebrities and you say, please post this. Please make me relevant. If you like this one, you can actually buy the next one for $50,000. This was just $80,000. That's what they are. They're scammers, most of them. Some are okay. But, like Lorraine Shorts. She's great. She knows what she does. Max is agreeing with Lorraine Shorts because he was like, I only know
who that is.
Yes. And, he goes from being a jewelry designer to then starting his own PR firm and taking on one client, Wendy Williams, one of the biggest stars and names, not only in our country, but I would say internationally. When it comes to talk shows, when it comes to radio, when it comes to just entertainment in general. Takes her on as a client. He then decides, of course, during that time, the show shuts down. There's not really production. And then the show, there were only a couple people in the audience. Things are changing. Suddenly, at some point, things change. We see less of Wendy. We start seeing these crazy photos where her eyes are nutty in the paparazzi photos and her skin looks a mess. And I'm not going to lie, I have some bad skin days too. And she has lymphophobo, whatever. She says she talks about it all the time with her legs. She has something with her legs. So when her legs all looked all like cellulite and everything, I was just like, she fucked up a little bit. Everyone likes a little plastic surgery. We know she loves it. Everyone in the celebrity world. Again, not me, you guys. I really fell. But she loves her plastic surgery. Now, if it was just plastic surgery, you go away for a little, you come back. In 2019, there was a documentary that came out on Wendy Williams, and she was in it. And she talked about going away to a health retreat, a wellness center, which is where her management says she's at, who also, I want to say, it's her boyfriend. When I say possibly husband, it's because during that time in 2020 when everything was changing, in 2021, she got into a fight with she got estranged from her siblings. Her mother passed away. Her father's in his 90s. There's no one to take control, really, and say, hey, are you okay? Her son's in Miami in a condo downtown in Brickell that has an enormous rent that she was fronting. It's very safe to say. Suddenly, once the management comes and puts her under a conservatorship with Wells Fargo in partnership, she is now under 2. She cannot access her funds. She cannot access her own. She is basically locked like Britney Spears. And in her documentary in 2019, she talks about how when she went away at one of these wellness centers, she was devastated a couple days in because she realized, basically, what am I doing here? Her father and mother both had a stroke while she was in there. She regretted it. Why would somebody who regretted something so hard and who has always been vocal and never shut the fuck up, even when maybe they should? Well, everything is happening in our world in the past year and a half. The craziest things. One of the biggest people in pop culture is silent, who doesn't even speak to her only son, who her son got evicted from his Miami apartment because there was nobody to pay the rent and he was all alone. And then management, of course, cut him off. And then Wendy calling a relative and saying, I got married. I don't know what happened. I got married. And her management, who is also the boyfriend, saying, no, she's not married. She's just, how she is. And then she goes into a wellness center and she can't get in touch with her son. Her son can't get in touch with her. He doesn't know where she is. So I think Wendy Williams is closer than we think. There's so many in Connecticut. There's so much. But I think nobody gives a shit because not only, listen, this podcast isn't really like that. But in reality, she's a black woman with a big fucking mouth that not a lot of people like. And Britney Spears is this cute little white dunce from middle of, America, where people go a little softer and they go, oh, that little stupid girl, she didn't know what she was doing. And because Wendy's so smart and she's so witty and funny, but she's cut down so many people with humor, but still, they go, oh, well, fuck that bitch. She's gone. Who gives a shit? Whatever happened to her happened. Well, no. If Ellen's Game of Games can come back, so can Wendy. So that's the update. And we will be doing a Where's Wendy just in general because it is very fascinating. And there is something to it where you go, why isn't anyone giving a shit? But that's why. That's really why. It's because it's not cute little Britney Spears. It also took us 13 years to figure that out with her. We all just thought, oh, what a nut who's finally getting help. Let's be real. Unless you were like Chris Tucker, and then you were like, leave Britney alone for years. And then you're like, okay. So that's the update. I know Max has been waiting for this.
Yeah, this is one of my big causes.
We've just been discussing this. I mean, you fucking prickhole. Oh my God. I just did a very deep dive, and I thought you were very impressed. But
I was impressed by the research.
But fine.
I was impressed by the research.
I mean, listen, there is layers to it, and you don't want to disparage anyone's names. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to say anything that could be incorrect or maybe, harmful in any sort of way. But this is very easy to figure out if you dive a little hard.
Yeah.
Everything has to be public knowledge except her location.
Yeah. That can be found with some more digging, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Break her out.
I would
take the
love
podcast
to
on the
break
road.
her out. I would love to break her out. I would love to know why the boyfriend's PR firm now no longer exists. I would love to know why his jewelry business also is out. Not many celebrities buying jewelry? Can they not afford it? What's going on? And then if you get a client like Wendy Williams, wouldn't you go around and get more clients? Say, my first client is Wendy Williams.
You'd think so.
Sign, please. Check, please.
Yeah, but no.
But no. Max, I need a cocktail.
Yeah.
I think it's cocktail time.
Cocktail time?
It's cocktail time.
Okay. We can do another cocktail.
Should I do the cocktail while
do you want to
we discuss something?
Yeah, we could do that. Or do you want to
out.
save? We could save the cocktail for the Patreon.
I need a cocktail.
You want a cocktail now? Okay, then go.
Wendy's
for it.
missing.
That's true.
Wendy's missing. We need a cocktail.
I can make the cocktail. Should I do that? Or do you not believe in it won't come out as good as yours?
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
How about you hold the mic for me while I make the cocktails?
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do. Can you still see me when I go down like this? Yeah. Is it tits?
No, it's still good.
Okay. And while we're doing this, we can do like little plugsies too.
Sure.
Like, tell the people, like, your plugs. All right, let me go. You're trying to get me, like, deep throat this mic. This is why I don't trust you sometimes, because I'm like, look at this, you sicko. You fucking... No, just kidding. That would be a good
Max Marcus Comedy on all social media. If that's the plug you're saying.
Oh, my God, like you're going to be at Helium.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be at Helium the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Helium, Philadelphia. Yeah, it's going to be good. I met the host of that show when opening for Bobby and Soul Joel's at Soul Joel's in Pottstown, PA, a really cool town. No, it does not sound real.
Does not sound real. I think they could still hear me if I go like this, you know?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at my cute little mixings and everything. There's a little water in it, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I can just go straight to this.
Yeah, let's go straight into the bottom.
I got this. You know, I've been to Puerto Rico a couple times, not to brag, but I've been to Puerto Rico. And when I went a few times, the Bacardi factory is out there. And for $67 and all of your dignity, you can become a mixologist and get certified. So I said, take my money. Let's rip me off, please. But now I know how to make a Cuba Libre. I don't drink. I know how to make a rum and coke. I don't drink. I think that's the same thing. And what else do I know how to make, Max? I know how to make dirty martinis and espresso martinis. I made a really good espresso martini when I was, because I was packing, because I was moving. I'm moving again. I was moving again. You guys, who knew living with a dude is actually very creepy? I was like, it's so crazy because I was like, I'm not going to live with women because, like, so many rules and this and that. And, like, they always want to know your business. At first, my roommate, this dude, he was so chill. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he's in his own world. And I realized because he wanted to trick me so I could fuck him eventually. And I was like, oh, men suck. Cheers. Look at this. Cheers. Swirl it around. Too strong. Too strong. Too strong. Okay, we'll go back to this. But, wow, that was really strong. Yeah. How are you not affected by it? Oh, thank you. You could just tell me to grab the mic. You don't have to, like, shove it in my face. Like, this is what he was doing. He was like, I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't. So, yeah, my creepy-ass fucking ex-roommate. So, I'm just, like, crashing with family for a couple days. And then figuring out whatever. But Jesus Christ. You think somebody's going to be really chill until you realize, like, oh, it's all an act. It's all an act. Here, let me give you a little more olive juice.
You think? Let me try it.
Okay, try it. It'll be perfect for Max. Too strong for me.
I think that's good.
Okay. You coughed as you did it, but...
I have a zin in my mouth.
What?
Yeah.
You have a Zen in your mouth? He's like, this is your new thing. This is like, we do have we have a first sponsor. We have our first sponsor, and then we're going to go back to my creepy-ass roommate. Who, actually, we're not going to go too much into it, but Max and I knew I had to get out of there because, as you guys may know from listening to the podcast, I was hooking up with my neighbor. Yum. The sex is wild, and I'm only saying that because now I'm allowed to finally talk about it on the podcast. So, yes. But... he told us some very disturbing things when we went, because we went to go pack up my place, and then we wound up just getting drunk with my neighbor and doing fun with him.
Yeah, smoking weed.
And he said he didn't even want to tell us everything that my roommate had asked about me in regards to sex, but he like... Max and I are so uncomfortable. He asked how I felt on the inside. Like, how creepy is that?
Yeah, that's really bad.
So bad. Also said he knew how to unlock my door with his fingernail. I was like, well, that makes me feel safe. It's so funny because I would joke around when I first moved in, and I was like, it rocks living with a guy. And I was like, they ask you no questions, and as long as they don't insult you, it's all good. And then at one point, he was so drunk, and he kept asking me, like, did I make a move on you when I was drunk? Like, this would be almost every day. And I was like, no. And he told me that he made a move on his cousin while he was drunk. So I was like, basically, he would make a move on me too. And I was like, oh, cool. Cool. It's time to leave.
Yeah.
He bought a ticket when we were going at Skankfest. He bought a ticket to Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Before we did. Yes, I told you this.
Oh.
He bought his plane ticket before Max and I did because we were talking about it. And he was like, I want to go. He has no friends. He's a loser.
Yeah.
So freaky. So weird. So strange.
Yeah.
He was like in the army, and he was like, well, I was there for only 6 months.
Yeah, that's not enough time to be in the army.
It was really nice. The guy I was hooking up with, he was like, the neighbor, he was like, oh, I said during Veterans Day weekend, you should come golf with me because I feel bad he's a veteran. I was like, no, he's not. 6 months. And let me tell you something. If you go to Afghanistan and then you're back within 6 months, something happened.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't let people out of the USA military so willy-nilly. They don't go, you don't like this. This is not for you. Get out of here, silly. Get out of here. You go do what you want to do. Nah, they'll fucking chop your dick off and they'll fucking send you to the fucking Saudis. And then they'll say, get on TikTok. post an Osama bin Laden letter and say, oh, I'm with Osama.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
Yeah. The TikTok teens love some Osama.
They love some Osama bin Laden. Which, if they do so much, they can just kill my roommate. I'm good with that. Or my ex-roommate. Now he's my ex-roommate. It's so great. Here's my revenge.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be 27 still, but I still got a little bit of the young, crazy Sabrina in me. I've calmed down over the years, I have to say, with Lexapro, but I have my moments. I have my moments where I can get nut butt and say, oh, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck me over? I'll come for you.
Yeah.
So he annoyed me. He annoyed me so badly, this guy. And he was always, if I didn't answer the text, he'd knock on my door, like, and everything, try to hang out with me all the time. Very weird, very odd, you know. And, hey, listen, was paying the rent on time, paid the rent, shut the fuck up. He was also disgustingly dirty. He was gross, sick. We walked in on him a couple times, like, peeing with the door open, which was next to my room. And we definitely think it was on purpose so I could walk in on him.
Yeah.
Like, it was really creepy. So, there was that, but my point was...
You reached out to the girl?
Reached out to the girl. So, before I moved out, I was asked by him to go to this event, right? And he pitched it as, like, you know, some singles mix or whatever, and I was like... What? No. He was like, well, free pizza. It's around the block. And I was like, okay, well, you know, okay, I'm in. Jews don't say no to food. We don't.
Even if it's food we can't digest well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's up. So I was like, that'll be fine. So he said, look, I met this girl there. I'm going to see. We wound up going. It's shut down for like this mini production. And it's a dating game, so to speak, or, you know, whatever you want to say, with different men. And it's one girl who set it all up. She's a cool girl, whatever. She was very nice. And, well, nice enough, you know. And then my roommate at the time, he was like the potential date to sit down. And when we walked in, they were like, who's this with you? And he goes, this is my girlfriend. About me. And I think he thought it was cute. I think he thought it was funny. And then they, you know, but then everyone got mad at me, like this girl and everyone else, because they were like, are you really his girlfriend? I was like, no, this guy's just, and you can't say when you live with somebody, no, he's just a fucking nutbag creepo. You just have to go, oh, I don't know why he said that. That's so wacky. That's so silly. He's silly. I don't want to say he's silly. I want to say, oh, rapey bapey much. Gross. Gross. Lies about his age. He's 30. And I found out he lies. I found out because my cup from school, one of my mugs from school, was missing for a while. Like the first month and a half I moved in, I couldn't find this thing. And I only brought like 5 like glassware pieces. I was very confused. Where's my water bottle? Where's my mug? I ended up being in his room. He would take pictures with it. Send it girls. Sorry, dude. No straight man's going to Juilliard normally. And what'd you study? That was the biggest crazy thing. I'm like, what? You lying? He would lie about he was still in school. He's 30. And he would set his Tinder age to like 24. He would lie to girls, say he's 24, 25. Like, very rapey to me. That's very rapey. Can we say that on YouTube a lot? You can bleep it.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
It's creepy. It's bad. And I didn't want to be associated with that. And that's why I'm speaking now. I'm like, why not? And he would lie to girls and then get upset if the girls would get upset. And it was weird. He would have a burner phone. So if a girl like blocked his number, he'd call from that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be associated with that. So when I was moving out, I obviously didn't want him to know I was staying in the city. So I lied. I said, Max and I were going the road. He tried to figure out everything, like where we were going, looked at Max's stories, looked at my stories. He made a comment about Max saying how he used to look better back in the day. And I was like, okay, nobody cares what your opinion is. Max looks great. I look great. And you look like a weirdo stalker. Right. Max drank to that. He was like nodding while he said that. That's why I was like, right? I mean, it's nutty. And you don't cross me. I was keeping all these things buried. And I was being nice. But all I asked when I was moving out was, hey, part of I found out he was charging me exponentially more than the rent was and everything else. I'm not trying to fund this loser's lifestyle. He goes in to get drunks at a bar every day at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
We do it in our home.
Yeah.
I'm not funding his lifestyle. I'm funding mine. I'm not funding him going home to spend time with his family and cousins he's making moves on.
Yeah.
I'm funding my life.
Yeah.
I'm funding the dick I want to suck that I'm not related to.
That's good.
Thank you. So the girl he met that night, we wound up going out that night. It was me and him and her sister, and my neighbor who I was hooking up with, or whatever. I am hooking up with, and we're all out. And he went back with the girl that night. He had posted like pictures from her apartment, which I always think is creepy when guys do them. Like, don't do that. You don't know them. Same thing with girls. Don't post. It's like if you're at a guy's place, let it, just be in the moment. No need to show off where you are. And then a few days later, he had some other bitch fly from out of town, which I'm sure he paid for. And he got a hotel room for them, whatever. And when he came back, he had made some comment to me. Now, I have to say again, you don't fuck with me, you don't fuck me over. I'm very open that I am on Lexapro. I'm very open that I take Xanax. And the only other medication I take is for my thyroid. Whatever, sure. But I'm open about my Lexapro. Antidepressant. Anti-anger, whatevs. He made a comment that night at the bar, on the way to the bar, to myself and the other guy, saying how gross any girls are that are depressed. Depressed girls are gross. Max is like, no, those are the hottest. He's like, depressed girls are gross because they like have to take like meds and it gets them all like dry and shit. It's gross. And to that I say, no, your dick just sucks. No, it could be a fucking snail trailing down the block. You're just gross. You just don't know what you're doing. Ugh. So a couple of days have passed and he had some horror, and so he was out of the apartment and in a hotel. Someone came from the apartment, like the building, the management, to put something in for the heat or whatever. And it wound up being in his room, unlocked the door, and when I did, I saw there was a medication bottle. And to me, in my comic brain, I thought, ha 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 ha, everyone's on SSRIs, you fucking bitch. I knew you were depressed. So I felt like I was getting a win, like I was about to see whatever antidepressant he was on, and like I was gonna like big dick in and be like, I knew it. You just like, or self-hatred, like you just fucking hate yourself. And I wound up seeing it was actually the medication for herpes. And I was like, holy shit balls. And he had like lied to, like about all these different things. He's a pathological liar, this dude. He's a nutbag. And I saw the herpes thing. I didn't say anything. I just told my neighbor. So I said, we can never smoke with him again. Because I'm irrational. I also went to the doctor that day because
Yeah.
my towel, one of my towels was next to his towel, like in the hallway next to the bathroom, next to the shower. And because our towels touched, and when I saw that, I immediately went to the doctor and I got all these testings done. And of course, I'm clean from everything, but I really was like, I explained it. He also would use my soap and he used my Cetaphil and stuff. And I was like, if he's touching my soap and putting it back, like, herpes! Ugh! I felt like in Pineapple Express when fucking James Franco takes like the bong and he was like, we shared bong mitzvah. And he was like, oh, herpes!
Yeah.
That was me! So my neighbor and I stopped smoking with him. And then I was like, I'm going to keep this buried. I'm going to keep this a secret. I'm not going to out this dude. That's wrong. But I felt like he was doing his medical assault. And I'll say why I think that. Because he would tell me that he would like taking the condoms off with girls during sex so he could feel closer to them. And that doesn't sound like something you get approval of.
No.
Nor does it sound like something you get approval of when you say, hey, I have herpes, but no flare right now. Listen, I know it only shares with the flare-up. People say that and everything. But at the same time, he's lying to girls. And the girl that I had met that night, I didn't want to say anything to her because I was like, I don't want to get involved with business. But he kept hitting her up. And he kept getting involved in everything. And it's like, you're willingly spreading something.
Yeah.
And causing medical distress and harm to women. It's one thing to lie about your age like a weirdo. It's another thing to spread a disease around that has no cure.
Yeah.
And not care.
Well, it's like also definitely a crime.
I think it is a crime.
It for sure is with HIV.
It is with HIV.
It probably is with herpes.
I think so. Personally, I think so. So the girl, she had reached out to me a couple of times asking if she could come to one of my shows. And I hadn't responded because I didn't want to get in the middle and everything. And I didn't want him to come to any of my shows. But I have moved out fully. And I had asked him originally because he had charged me so much over time and this and that over things. I said, you have to reimburse me. We've discussed this. And I was like, the AC unit, he had lied about an AC unit when I moved in July. And that was part of the rent that he had bought one and everything. He never bought it. He never gave it to me. I had to buy my own. So I said, you're going to reimburse me for it. He said yes. Then all of a sudden comes out to moving. He won't answer any of those texts. He won't deal with it. And I'm like, okay, this guy's totally going to try to dip out without it. And because I brought it up and I said, I would like to discuss it and everything. And I was like, are you just going to ignore that? He decided to ignore it and then unfollow me on Instagram. And the second you have one of my numbers drop and you unsubscribe from YouTube and you unfollow me on Instagram, you're getting taken down. Your herpes is getting spread around by mouth. So I messaged her and I was like, hey girl to girl, just want to let you know I probably wouldn't fuck with because he is such a liar and I had to move out and he creeps me out. Oh, by the way, you should definitely get checked because you're probably fine, but he does have herpes. And that's how I ended it.
Did she ever respond?
Oh, she responded and she goes, I'm throwing up. It was 7 a.m. on Saturday.
Whoa.
I woke up and chose violence.
Yeah. She wasn't mad at you. She didn't.
She was not mad at me. She still wants to come to a show.
Hell
no,
yeah.
she actually, when I told her everything and what I knew, she was disgusted. She was scared, and she was telling me how he's still hitting her up.
Yeah.
It's sickening. Guys like that, it's like, and it goes right back to what got you kicked out of the Army after 6 months. Because he doesn't say he's kicked out. But nobody leaves in 6 months. You can't leave. You can't do that.
No.
You gotta die or get and die. Bleep the words of that, but
yeah.
So that's my deal. So I might be going down to I don't know. I'm gonna be in New York for a while, obviously, but mi madre in Miami, my French sounds way better, has a place, and she's going to go on a cruise. The trashiest thing one can do. My mother, I can't believe it. I'm like, you've traveled all of the south of France. Can you go back to being a normal lady, please? But she's dating a man who likes cruises. So she's cruising. Because that's normal. So she'll be out of town. So I said, free house in Miami. And I'm trying to convince Max to come with me.
Yeah, do some shows down there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll each have a bedroom and everything. Yeah. I'm like, why not? So we're going to try to plan something for Florida. For like December. Going to be down there in January, but for a wedding. Mm-hmm. For a weekend. Yeah, we have a couple more things to dive into on the show today, but just trying to get you guys on the pulse of what we're trying to do. On the pulse. Yeah. Now that I'm, we're obviously also not at Gas Digital right now, if you could tell.
Yeah.
We're not at Gas Digital. And we love our friends at Gas Digital. And we appreciate everyone at Gas Digital. We love them. We're going to probably be back soon.
Yeah.
Just little snafu studios. Studios can get pricey.
Yes.
And And also the whole thing was, you know, I was living in an apartment in a tenement in LES where there was no living room.
Yeah. It made things tough.
Made things very tough. But I said, this is for the greater good of me and my growth.
Yes.
And listen, there were a bunch of great things to come out of that Chinatown LES place. But at the, you know, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I'm ready to start a new solo somewhere. No more roommates.
Yeah.
No more families. No more exes. Just solo dolo.
Yeah.
Max isn't agreeing because he's fantasizing about the same thing but doesn't want to say it.
No, I was thinking it's maybe it's time to switch over to the old Patreon.
The page?
Yeah.
I think so. Where are we at?
We're at like 50 minutes.
I really like that.
Yeah.
There's just 2 more things I want to touch on before we switch over to Patreon. Patreon.com/funnygirlwithtits. I want to speak on 2 things. One, I want to speak on... Actually, I'm going to save one of them for the Patreon. Max approves.
Yes.
I'm getting the nod. We're going to be speaking about... This is a crazy thing to say. I listen, I don't know which way I want to go on this. There's 2 things that I want to say. No, I'm going to go with this. There's 2 things that got released this week. One was a documentary called House of Kardashian, where it is a shut up dog, where it is a 3-part documentary released on some bad, network that then got bought by Peacock, all about the Kardashian dynasty, and more than the Kardashian dynasty, the Kris Jenner evolution. Her life, her tenacity, and I want to say her genius played out. I am on part 1, so I don't want to speak further than that, but I will say Joe Francis is in it. Joe Francis talks in the documentary at some point, and if you don't know Joe Francis, you're wrong, because you do. Joe Francis created something called Girls Gone Wild. He is not from the show Princes of Malibu, but he is a Prince of Malibu. He grew up there. I don't think when people realize, you talk about LA, people talk about LA and people talk about the connections and such, and I don't think they realize how intertwined every single person in Los Angeles is. Specifically in Malibu, specifically in Calabasas, specifically in Hidden Hills. Then Joe Francis connecting them, and all through one thing, which is the platform of sex sells. Joe Francis is not to be trusted with one word he ever says. If anything, I think he should be put in jail. What he likes to do is take childhood friends from growing up, use their names, use their fame, notoriety, usually from parents, and he implemented them in the Girls Gone Wild universe. Now, anyone who doesn't think that Kim Kardashian didn't have anything to do with her sex tape, you're obviously in denial. Kim Kardashian. However, there's one person that could have really helped facilitate everything, which is Joe Francis. And if you want to go that way, and you want to break it down, it's kind of everywhere. And if you want to go by reality shows, it's kind of everywhere. We've talked about the show Joan and Melissa, with Joan Rivers, Melissa Rivers. Years ago, Joan encouraged, as a bit, for Melissa to release a sex tape by accident. So it goes, what then would be viral? She becomes famous. Melissa's her daughter. If you don't know her, Joan Rivers' only daughter. And the bit was in the show, she was meeting with Joe Francis. Again, it's about 10, 15 years ago, she meeting with Joe Francis. And they're breaking down how to create Melissa Rivers' sex tape, which Melissa did not want to do. And her explanation of why she was comfortable with this is because her and Joe have known each other since they were kids. And this is like most big celebrities from again, Bel Air, Calabasas, wherever the fuck you want to go, in the nicest parts of Beverly Hills of LA. I'm not talking downtown. I'm talking estates. I'm talking the Spellings, the OGs of the day. And they're all connected to Joe Francis. And they're all connected from the early 2000s of becoming sex symbols. Establishing something, whether it be leaked or not. Like how Paris Hilton's wasn't leaked, because who she knows and who she grew up with, Joe Francis. Guess who lived on her block? Joe Francis. Guess whose dad was a billionaire? Joe Francis. It all goes back to him. No matter how you want to break down all these people's success, sex sells. And Joe tapped into that probably from living in the community where something like the Playboy Mansion was prevalent. And you go, I see reality TV breaking in. I see like pay-per-view breaking in. What's left? And you go, okay, I have some hot fucking friends. Because I think Joe Francis is fucking I don't know if I've clarified that yet. He's gay as shit. And the people say, no, he's not. He's married with a family. I'm like, okay, everyone else is too. Everyone else in Hollywood. What they really need to do is a documentary and a breakdown on Joe Francis. Because he is the one leading America's celebrity. He is the one leading everything from and making everything into the forefront. He has created everything. And with that, I will be probably making a sex tape with, like, I don't know, Pete Davidson or something and selling it to Joe Francis. But whatever. Maybe Timbaland? I was trying to go for, I don't know, I said Pete because he's our age and in comedy.
Yeah.
And sex sells, and everyone talks about the BDE. And imagine what Joe Francis could do with that. What he could do with the BDE. And what he could do with the BTE. Big tit energy. Just sit on that. Let's switch over to Patreon. Patreon.com/funnygirlwithtits. Follow me, Funny Girl with Tits, on everything. Funny Girl W Tits on X, but Funny Girl with Tits on everything else. TikTok, Twitter. Oh, wait, no, not Twitter. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. My butthole. I don't know.
Definitely subscribe to the YouTube.
Definitely subscribe to the YouTube. We're so close to the 1,000.
Yes.
It's sick, dude.
Yeah.
We're so proud. We're really proud. Also, like, our first year, just want to say, having over, like, 30,000, like, listens and everything, like, we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So we know we're like nobodies and nothings and specs, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Max didn't like that part. But I liked it. Okay, love you. Bye.